On the 11th of May, the Senate voted against an amendment to the civil service law. The bill was rejected by the votes of the opposition parties, which have a majority in the upper house of parliament. Now the bill is back in the lower house and is likely to be approved on Friday. All persons who were officers of the secret military services and secret collaborators of those services are no longer allowed to work in the civil service, in the public service. The most important provision relates to the prohibition of employment in the civil service and in government offices of persons who, in the period from the 22nd of July 1944 to the 31st of July 1990, served, worked in the state security organs or were collaborators of those organs within the meaning of the provisions of the so-called lustration law. Ombudsman Professor Marcin Wiącek has reservations about the amendment. A democratic state and the rule of law in which we live can hold accountable to draw consequences from people who acted for a totalitarian state, but this should be preceded by an individual assessment of each person's attitude. Antony Macierewicz takes a different view. This is some kind of misunderstanding. This is obviously an individual decision and not a collective one. People who were active in the communist secret services are in fact within the reach of the Russian services. We should be aware that all their files are in Moscow. Therefore, whatever their views are now, they are vulnerable. The law is a response to the threats posed by the aggressive policy of the Russian Federation. The goal is to strengthen state security. More than 40,000 people can apply to the Institute of National Remembrance. All of these people, born before 1972, will be required to submit vetting declarations indicating whether or not they worked, served, or cooperated with the communist services. This will complete the vetting process that started 31 years ago by Jan Olszewski's government. On the 28th of May 1992, the Sejm passed a resolution obliging the then Interior Minister Antony Macierewicz to disclose the names of those who were secret collaborators with the UB and SB. Because of this, a few days later on the 4th of June, the Round Table deal brought down the government. Today, these events are known as the Night Shift. I would like to leave the herd with only one accomplishment, that I shall be able to walk on the street and look straight into people's eyes. It is a very dramatic moment in the history of the nation. One of the newspapers had such text: "The government leaves, the agent stays." Better late than never, says the president of Warsaw's Gazeta Polska clubs, Adam Borowski, who was an anti-communist opposition activist during the communist period. It should have been done in 1989, and we would be in a different place now. All these years of those people actively harming Poland, all the strings attached, all the blackmail. We lost an awful lot of time. Civic Platform leader Donald Tusk is organising a march on the 4th of June to mark the anniversary of the contract elections. It is worth recalling that it was Donald Tusk who took an active part, shoulder to shoulder with the communists, in the overthrow of the democratically elected government of Jan Olszewski. The amendment to the Civil Service Act is expected to be adopted by the Sejm later this session, and will then go to the President, who has 21 days to decide on it.